They say a man's home is his castle, but for Dave and Sue Rowe, their home is a dome. The futuristic-looking home overlooking Lake Altoona was built by a contractor, but the interior was completely designed by the Rowes. From the solid wood floors to the ceiling that peaks at 27 feet, the home is definitely unique, but for good reasons. For one thing, the circular shape helps the structure withstand strong winds better than traditional buildings, and that also helps with the heat bill.
That's one of the reasons it's cheaper energy-wise. The wind goes around it, it doesn't hit on a cold wall.
The heat bill is also kept low by the openness of the living area, which provides excellent airflow.
And in the winter, if we light a fire in the fireplace, we have to put the fan on in the peak of the dome, otherwise it's too hot to sit upstairs in our family room and watch TV. And that's without anything from the furnace, just from the fireplace.
Living in a circular house does present some problems. There are some nooks and crannies that are a little bit difficult to fill, but for the most part, the interior of the house is fairly conventional.
It takes a little more designing. One of the fortunate parts about it is they actually build the entire outside of the dome first. Everything is done. And then they do the internal structures. Even the windows could have been changed at any time just by taking one of the other triangles and sticking a window in there.
The Rowes house is the largest dome home in the area, with about 2,400 square feet of living space. They say they put about $100,000 into the building, but they've been told that was about a third less than it would have cost to build a traditional home with about the same amount of living space. But it was more than money that went into this geodesic dome. It was a 20-year dream, and the Rowes doubt if they'll ever leave.
Not if I didn't have to.
Kathy Bissen, News Center 13, Altoona. Combine the futuristic shape of a geodesic dome with the rusticness of a completely pine interior, and you have a dream come true for David and Sue Rowe of Altoona. While the shell of this 2,400 square or round-foot dome was erected by Dome Home veteran Mark Steele, the Rowes designed the interior. That included placing walls wherever they wanted, because walls aren't needed for structural support.
You could have no walls at all if you didn't want them. It's all held up by the outside.
One of the major advantages of a dome home is the strength of a structure. Strong winds can go around the building instead of running up against a flat wall.
That's one of the reasons it's cheaper energy-wise. The wind goes around it, it doesn't hit on a cold wall, it doesn't take away as much heat.
In fact, some studies show dome homes to be up to 25% more energy efficient than traditional homes. Another reason for that could be the openness of the living area, which promotes excellent airflow.
And in the winter, if we light a fire in the fireplace, we have to put the fan on in the peak of the dome, otherwise it's too hot to sit upstairs in our family room and watch TV.
But there is one slight problem with the dome. Sound waves seem to travel in strange paths along the curved walls and 27-foot-high ceiling.
When we first moved in, the dog used to get real confused, because if you'd stand up on the balcony and holler for the dog would kind of dash toward the kitchen because it would sound like he was hearing you behind him.
Hundreds of triangles make up the 8-inch thick dome walls. The Rowes say they've put about $100,000 into building their circular home, but they add domes usually cost about 1/3 less to build than conventional homes with the same amount of living space. David Rowe has wanted to live in a dome since he saw the geodesic dome that was the U.S. Pavilion at the 1967 World Fair. Now that his dream has come true, he and his wife doubt if they'll ever leave.
Not if I didn't have to.
Kathy Bissen, News Center 13, Altoona.